Okay, now here is the very quick demonstration of how you can quickly do image registration in ArcGIS. And here I used ArcGIS actually 9.3 version, and so the process is pretty quick and pretty simple. And here you can see I loaded up in this project, and first of all, for base image, I loaded up the 2007 QuakeBird image in natural color, and this is essentially the baseline image. I'm gonna register all the aerial photos too, and I also loaded up here is the USGS topo map. The reason I want to have this here is because the topo map has valuable information, basically the names for the areas or the locations. So I can use this because I'm not familiar with the island. I can use these names to help me to roughly locate where those aerial photos are, because those photos are named, I think, based on some kind of a location name. So go back up here. I already got two finished here, but I'm gonna keep trying to show you one. And there are many different ways to do the image restoration. The method I'm going to show here is a really quick and rough one. And from the two images I've finished so far, and I think the simple and quick one is sufficient. And just two images that's already been registered. You can see they look pretty okay. They match the location roughly, I'd say, pretty well. And yeah, not bad. Okay, so I'm gonna just, this is the first thing I do is since again I'm not familiar with this area, the island, I'm just gonna have to start somewhere, right? So since I finished two of this here, I'm just gonna continue on clockwise. The first thing I would do is I'm gonna turn on this. Come on. Depending on how fast the computer you have, it may be smoother or less so. And moving on here, I'm looking at this, all these names based on the topo map. Let's see. And in the meantime, I have all the error photos here in this catalog window. You see the photos have the name. The name is what I use to roughly locate it. So go back here as I move on from where I already finished. Let's see a name, as I'm going to scanning through all these names on this topo map and see if I can find a corresponding one for the photo. So here I don't see one. I'm not seeing anything interesting here. Let's see. Oh, I actually see one here. UTWE. As you can see, I found a photo has this name here. 1944. So I guess it's roughly here, right? So I already have a basic idea of how big a photo would cover. So I'm gonna zoom out to the proper scale, and actually back here I'm gonna open up this a preview for this photo. Let's see. That's what it looks like. Okay, let's see. There. That's the opening. That's cutting into, and there. And now I have a pretty good idea. Interesting. Where it is. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. There we go. You see this here, and I can find it roughly here. Yeah, so this is about right, and looks like the photo covers about, I'd say, smaller, but roughly this area. Now, next thing I do is I'm going to bring in this photo. Let's put it up right here. Of course, it's not going to show because it doesn't have any projection. So the first thing I would do is make sure I have this GeoReferencing toolbar open up. If you don't see this in not just ArcMap 9.3, you go here, go to View, Toolbar, you turn on this GeoReferencing toolbar. If it's ArcGIS 10, you're gonna have to, I think, go to 2 and turn to the same thing. They moved the toolbars, I think, in a different menu. Alright, so I have this button here. The first thing I do is go to GeoReferencing, make sure the layer is what I need to work this in for, make sure you're targeting the right layer. What I will do is first I just fit it to display. Boom. Of course, it's not going to fit very well, but it's a start. I think it looks about right. Yeah, the rough location. Now my computer is not very powerful, so if you have a better computer, it's going to be smoother. Yeah, it looks okay as a starting point. And this is why basically zooming to a proper scale is helpful at the beginning. Locate where the photo is roughly at and zoom your base image to the right location at the right scale. Then bring in the Aerialphoto and use a fit to display in the GeoReferencing toolset to move this photo to a good starting point. Alright, so I got this one okay. The next thing I'm going to do is actually, once I have this is a trick. I'm actually going to move it away. Okay, these are the two main tools you use for the rough tuning of the image. You can see this rotate, shift basically move it linearly, and then scale is basically make it larger, big, smaller. So first I'm going to actually use the shift tool, just move this away to somewhere like here, like so I can have them side by side. I wish ArcMap has support for multiple viewers, but it doesn't, so this is what I do. It's okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate it. As you can see, use a rotate tool, and you basically click and hold and rotate. How does it look? Looks alright? Yeah, it looks pretty okay. And I think just make sure the angle and everything looks fine. It's alright. Maybe a little bit towards this way. And the next step is I'm going to do a little bit scaling. And this is the tricky one in ArcMap, at least in 9.3, or at least my copy of ArcMap, because you want to make sure it's about as close as possible. See, because every time you do the zooming and scaling, it changed the location of your target layer. That really is a pain. So you may want to do this as one of your first steps and get it as close as possible. I think it's just a little bit smaller. How's that? It's probably okay right now. Let's just move up here. Again, I'm just comparing the scaling. I think it's about right. What I'm doing here is just visually compare. I think it needs to be a little smaller. So I'm visually comparing. Okay, this is here. This should be here, right? So it's a little too big right now. So make it a little smaller. Now this is when you have a powerful computer, that would be very helpful, because that will make this a lot smoother. How are we looking? I think we're looking okay. Maybe even more. How's that? It's about right, I guess. Okay, the next step is gonna take a lot of patience. Now I'm gonna zoom in to here. I will make this, go to property, display. I'm gonna make this a little transparent. Let's see, 35% is a good start. Now, how much you want this to be transparent is really your own preference. I think 35% is enough here. So there I'm gonna move to the shift tool. I am gonna try to move this to where it's supposed to be. I'm gonna move, boom. How do it look? Okay. It's not very far. Looks like there's a little rotation going on, but other than that, I think we're okay. We can still flip back and forth. Just use some GCP ground control points, your control points, to see. The one thing here is from 1944 to 2007, there's a lot of changes in the mangrove. So I will make, what I'm going to have to use is to find those control points that didn't change over the years. So I'm going to fine tuning rotation a little bit more. Looks like. Wait, it's the wrong way. So let's go that way. How do we look? That's a line. I think it's not that far, isn't it? A few more fine tuning back to. I think we're gonna have to move it down a little bit, extra rotate clockwise a little bit. How's that? So after back and forth using the shift to rotate and scale to a few more times, a few more minutes, which I cut out from here, from this video. Got it pretty close. Now for this particular locational challenges, I couldn't find enough ground control features for me to register the two images. In other words, the landscape, the vegetation for this particular area seemed to have changed a lot between the what 6 years between. Not surprisingly, and a lot of mangrove regeneration, in fact, and die off, depending on where it is. So, but now we have the photo roughly in this position. I mean, it's a good place to start for the next steps. And then once you get this, you feel comfortable with it, and you want to make sure you run this rectify tool. Basically, is to confirm the change. And for this particular project, for this aerial photo, the resolution we should use probably less than half meter, and that's leave. For example, methods limit as default output location. Make sure where it's 1B, and imagine IMG format is good. I just name it appendix arc. The compression would be nice to make the file a little bit smaller, and I'll save it. Now again, this is a rough and quick registration. It's nowhere near most would prefer or desire the precision and the accuracy to be, and I've found in many cases after this is sufficient if you have good ground control features to use. So once the process is finished, you can bring this IMG file back in here. As you can see, it's registered, but it's not my best work. But yeah, it'll make do. Well, then there are tools also in this GeoReferencing toolset you can use to fine-tune the registration. And this time we use different toolsets. You can read the help file a little bit. That will give you enough instruction to do it. Essentially, right, in order to fine-tune it, you have to use precise ground control locations. Use this to essentially just to find matching points and match this image you want to work on and the target reference base image, and make it as close as possible. But in this case, for the demonstration, I think this should do.